Coming up, a downtown parking lot could be transformed into a 7-story building, leaving businesses with questions.
Also, take a look into the newly renovated Allen Fieldhouse.
And advanced voting has started. See how you can vote early on campus.
Live from the studio in Stauffer Flint at the University of Kansas, you're watching KUJH News.
Welcome to KUJH News. I'm Cameron McCrory.
And I'm Savannah Meyer. The parking lot on 8th in Vermont might be getting a facelift.
That's right. Lawrence City Commission has proposed plans to make it a mixed-use space. Here's what it would bring to downtown Lawrence. Right now, this area is just a parking lot. But what if it was more? Like a hotel, grocery store, parking garage, and housing. The project, called 826 Vermont, was brought to Lawrence City Commission by development group Rise Up LLC. The plans are for a 7-story building. A grocery store would be on level 1. On levels 2, 3, 4, and 5, 100 hotel rooms. And on level 6 and 7, condos and apartments. It would also create 384 total parking spots, more than double what the space has right now. The parking lot sits behind a number of prominent local businesses that would be impacted by the construction. One of these is the Raven Bookstore. Manager Chris Luxem said that to him, the idea seems promising.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially like grocery store and, even like more housing would definitely be good, especially if it's affordable for folks and stuff. So I definitely see the progress.
But he still has some concerns about the logistics.
And I definitely have a lot of questions. I'm still kind of on the fence in terms of like the positives and the negatives of it all. Again, we don't know like how long it'll take and like what that actually will entail.
Luxem said based on past experience with construction projects, he is wary of having one in his own backyard.
Just from my own experience of living near construction zones, whether here or in bigger cities, there's just not a lot of care for like the surrounding area while it's being done.
To hear community concerns like this, Rise Up LLC plans to hold public meetings for nearby property owners and will stay in contact with them throughout the development. And if the city chooses to move forward with this plan, City Commission expects that with everything going into the building development, it would take about 2 years to complete and cost nearly $58 million.
The Chi Omega Fountain used to be the only spot on campus where students could take a dip, but another location on campus just reopened its pool's hours, allowing students access to its waters. KUJH's Prescott Deckinger takes a deeper look into Robinson's swimming pool.
Robinson Center's natatorium was reopened by KU Recreation Services last week, allowing the KU community access to its 6 25-meter lane pools for the first time in 2 years. Students were excited about the chance to swim on campus again.
It's super nice. Not a lot of schools have this, I don't feel like, so that's a really good thing to have. It's nice to be able to just come here and swim whenever I've got a chance.
In May of 2022, the Department of Health, Exercise, and Sports Science discontinued open pool hours to students, faculty, and staff. Only members of the KU swim and dive team could use the facilities for training and athletic events. Robinson cited the loss of swim-related programming and lack of lifeguards as the causes for closing open pool hours.
Especially at a college level, a lot of people think they know what they're doing or they overestimate their abilities. So it's really important to understand when to intervene for help and make sure everyone's safe.
The natatorium welcomes not only KU students, but faculty, staff, and retirees as well. Everybody is glad they get to make a splash.
I didn't even know that you could swim until just today, so first day here and it feels good to be back in a pool.
The only area restricted to swimmers is the diving well, where the high dive and diving boards are located. All other lanes are available for swimmers. The natatorium is open Monday through Friday and has various open hours throughout the day. With a fully staffed lifeguard crew and refurbished facilities, the KU community can once again grace the waters. For KUJH News, I'm Prescott Deckinger.
With winter weather fastly approaching, the natatorium's warm waters will be a safe haven of leisure and comfort for all members of the KU community.
And speaking of winter weather approaching, so is basketball season. Last week, we covered the $55 million upgrades that were being made to Allen Fieldhouse, and last Friday, we got to take a look inside. Power drills are not the typical sounds you hear in the mecca of college basketball. Allen Fieldhouse has been under construction, but its doors finally opened on Friday. Although the seating capacity decreased from 16,300 to 15,300, the Fieldhouse doubled the amount of ADA seating. The arena boasts a slightly larger video board and 2 new LED displays on the southwest and northeast corners of the arena that provide additional stats and closed captioning for the first time ever. In light of increasing accessibility, there is a new elevator and enclosed pedestrian bridges at the north entrance for safer and more comfortable entry. The second and third levels have also been updated as 75% of fans are located on these levels. New bathrooms and more points of sale have also been added to these levels.
That Carolina game in just a few weeks down the road is going to demonstrate how much more we were able to do with the game day experience, and then of course the student athlete experience, because those are, we want every fan to grow and gain, and we want every student athlete, both men and women, to know that they're playing in, without question, the best basketball building in the world.
Athletic Director Travis Goff noted that the renovations bring a new atmosphere to the field house that pictures can hardly capture. To feel the atmosphere for yourself, the revamped Allen Fieldhouse will host an open house this evening from 6 to 8:30. The self-guided tour begins at the Booth Family Hall of Athletics and goes around the entire complex. After 5 p.m., free parking will be available in lots 71, 90, 125, and 127.
Lately, the weather has given us a taste of fall with the cooler temperatures, especially with the leaves changing.
Yeah, absolutely. It really has. Weather forecaster Sam Hansen is now here to tell us more about the upcoming temperatures. Sam, what's it going to look like?
Yes, thanks guys. So if you enjoy the cooler fall temperatures and yesterday was the day for you, if you like the summer heat, then step outside this afternoon because that is what we are going to have. Outside right now, there was one storm that just missed us this morning, but we are clear now. Temperature-wise, we're sitting at 70 degrees, humidity at 47%, and the wind is strong out of the southwest at 14 miles an hour, gusting up to 22 at the moment, and those gusts will just get stronger as we go through the day, potentially up to 30 miles an hour, as we'll reach a high this afternoon around 87, staying partly cloudy. But the main story of the day is a cold front that'll move through this evening, which will bring along storm chances, especially around 7 p.m. and after that. I'll give you all the details in just a few minutes. Back to you.
Thanks. We may have some rain coming. Sam will be back to let us know when to pull out our umbrellas.
Also, an E. coli outbreak has spread across the Midwest, and the culprit, a McDonald's Quarter Pounder.
And a Topeka man beat breast cancer not once, but twice. Hear his story after the break.
Welcome back. Sam is back with details on the upcoming forecast. Sam?
Yes, thank you. So again, these storm chances will primarily be from 7 to 11 p.m. tonight. There's an 80% chance of precipitation here in Lawrence, but I do think we'll get some rumbles of thunder here this evening before cooling down to a low around 51 early tomorrow morning. Now, putting this into motion, around 7 p.m., storms will develop off to our west, then move through our area around the 8 to 9 p.m. time frame. And then they should be out of our area off to the southeast come about 11 p.m. to midnight. But if you have evening plans, those will definitely be impacted by this. We are in a level 1 out of 5 risk for severe weather this evening from Manhattan down to Eureka, up here to Lawrence, Kansas City, everywhere up off to the northeast, with the main hazard being hail up to 1 inch in diameter. Now, as we look at the satellite view right now, the cold front right now is located up in the northwest Nebraska. A lot of clouds up there with that. Zooming in here to Lawrence, you see, this is what the early rainfall that we had is now off on the Missouri side. Just missed us, so there are a couple of isolated showers with these clouds you can see now that have moved into the Missouri area. Temperatures right now, we're looking at 70 out in Topeka, 72 in Osage, 73 in Ottawa, 71 in Lawrence, a little bit cooler up in Kansas City at 65 degrees. As we go through toward the weekend, tomorrow, again, it'll be 87 for a high today, 69 tomorrow due to that cold front. Saturday, a couple degrees colder, down to 65. Sunday, ratchet it back up a bit, back up to 75, with the sunny conditions prevailing. Now, if you're heading out down to Fayetteville tomorrow night for the exhibition basketball game against Arkansas, very pleasant conditions, 78 beforehand, down in the 60s during tip-off and for the conclusion of that event. For the home exhibition game on Tuesday, it'll be warmer by that time, 83 pregame, then 70s during it. We'll not even need that jacket in October evening after this event concludes. Taking a look at our 7-day forecast, again, the chance of storms this evening around 7 to 11 p.m. before we cool down for Friday and Saturday. Then as we head into next week, we're all going to climb right back up into those 80s, some cloud cover and some rain chances as well as we end next week. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sam. Hopefully these temperatures won't get much higher so we can enjoy that cool fall weather for the rest of October.
And in other news, one person is dead and at least 48 others sick after an E. coli outbreak tied to fast food chain McDonald's. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention is investigating the multi-state outbreak. As Lee Waldman reports, the CDC believes the outbreak is linked with McDonald's Quarter Pounders.
A health alert coming for the Golden Arches.
Sorry, we don't have the Quarter Pounders.
The CDC is conducting what they're calling a fast-moving investigation into an E. coli outbreak they say is linked to the popular McDonald's Quarter Pounder and dozens of illnesses reported in at least 10 states, including one death of an older person. Nearly a dozen people have been hospitalized, including a child who developed a serious complication that can develop from an E. coli infection. A map on the CDC website shows most of the illnesses are in Colorado and Nebraska.
Reach out to members of the public that have these positive test results and ask them a series of food survey type questions to try and understand foods that they ate leading up to the onset of their illness.
Information reviewed by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration shows that slivered onions are a likely source of contamination.
I want to talk about onions.
In a video released on YouTube, McDonald's USA President Joe Erlinger says McDonald's has stopped using the onions as well as quarter-pound beef patties in several states while the investigation continues. In an interview with the Today Show, Erlinger assured customers that other items on the menu are safe to eat.
What we've done at McDonald's is taken this swift and decisive action to address the issue that we have so that the public can be confident in McDonald's.
In New York, Lee Waldman reporting.
McDonald's stock was down almost 7% at the opening bell Wednesday, on pace for its worst day since March 2020 when the world went into the COVID lockdown.
October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is often recognizing women with the disease. What people may not know is in rare occasions, men can also have breast cancer. I spoke with one Topeka local who has won his battle not only once, but twice.
Jeremy Bailey was first diagnosed with stage 1 breast cancer in April of 2019 after finding a lump in his chest. He was then diagnosed again in June of 2022 with stage 3. After discovering the lump and informing his doctors, the testing began, but the tests were coming up negative. He kept advocating for himself and demanded a surgical biopsy to be done. The results came back positive. Bailey found it frustrating pushing medical professionals for more testing.
If I were to just listen to the doctors and stuff and them tell me that there was nothing wrong, I could only guess where I would be right now.
Throughout the second battle, Bailey received help through the CARE project, helping cover utilities and rent while receiving the care he needed. A community supporting him felt like a second family, including the founder of Men Too.
It's important. I got to meet Jeremy because he called me one day, and I form friendships with these men and their families, and that's important to me, very important.
Washburn began her journey advocating for awareness to men's breast cancer after her husband's diagnosis in 2016 of stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. Her husband, Marlon, died just 5 months following his diagnosis. She now travels in the United States in the last vehicle he had ever bought with a wrap around the car with the words "Breast Cancer Doesn't Discriminate" and "Men Too" around the vehicle to promote the program in partnership with the CARE Project Incorporated. This serves as the in-between program to help serve men battling breast cancer facing financial problems.
We are there. We can help with rent. We can help with utilities, with groceries. We are the in-between program. We're not the great big program like some of the programs are that you hear about. But we are the in-between program. We are there to fill the gaps. We are there to help our men so they don't have to sit and wonder who's going to pay my utility bill.
The third week of October is Male Breast Cancer Awareness Week. From October 17th through the 23rd, people are invited to remember those who have lost loved ones to this disease and men who are still fighting for their lives with this battle.
And early voting in Douglas County has started. If students are looking for a location on campus to vote, the Lead Center is offering early voting in Wednesday, October 30th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. All you need to bring is a valid form of identification. For more information on all early voting locations, you can visit the sos.ks.gov. And next up on sports, Kansas basketball had their media day this week, how the Jayhawks are looking before their home opener.
And the Kansas women's rowing team took a trip to Massachusetts this past weekend. More on how the team did up next.
National champions deserve a clean campus. Don't wait for other Jayhawks to pick up your mess. Keep the University of Kansas clean.
Welcome back from the break. Thanks for joining us on KUJH Sports. I'm your host, Millie Favela. We've had a great run of wins for KU athletics in the past week, including KU's huge victory over Houston last Saturday with their homecoming game with a final score of 42-14. The Jayhawks had a great home win at Arrowhead Stadium, but like we mentioned last week, the women's rowing team traveled to Cambridge, Massachusetts, and picked up a first-place finish in the Club 4 category at the Head of Charles Regatta. Our very own Kara Lyons and her team soared through the water for one of the best feats in KU history. The Head of the Charles hosts over 11,000 athletes and 2,500 boats. This race is 4,700 meters, or just over 3 miles. Kansas entered 2 boats, the Champ 4 and the Club 4. The Champ 4 fought hard and placed 9th out of 16, securing their bid to next year's race. Kara's boat, the Club 4, started off strong and held their pace steady for the first 1,500 meters. Right around the 2,500 meter mark, they got their kick, passing 3 boats. Chasing first the entire race, and the last 700 meters, clashing oars with NC State, fighting for room before going under the last bridge. NC State finally yielded to KU. Finishing with a time of 18 minutes and 20 seconds, KU's Club 4 boat secured its first place win, and their coach confirmed from the sideline. This is the first time ever that Kansas has medaled at this race. You can cheer on the Jayhawks at their next race, the Jayhawk Jamboree, here in Lawrence on November 2nd. Game 1 of the MLB World Series starts tomorrow, and the games will be nothing but eventful. The New York Yankees and the LA Dodgers will go head-to-head starting at 7:08 p.m. Central Time. This World Series is not one to miss, as there are some powerful sluggers on both teams. All-stars like Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, and Juan Soto are back and ready for Game 1. Throughout the 2024 season, Judge had 58 home runs, Ohtani followed right behind with 54, and Soto also trailed closely with 41. For the Yankees in the World Series, their strength will come from hitting and loading the bases. Anthony Volpe has had a .459 on-base percentage in the postseason, and Gleyber Torres has had a .400 on-base percentage. Their pitching rotation has also been powerful, and Garrett Cole, who has saved most of his power for the World Series, could be deadly for the Dodgers. In a similar manner, the Dodgers have proved its strong offense by scoring 46 runs in 6 games, which is the most ever in an NLCS. Ohtani is undoubtedly a key force behind the Dodgers' success, along with Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who succeeded with 105 strikeouts for the 2024 season. 2 of the best MLB franchises in baseball's biggest match is something you're not going to want to skip out on. Watch the game tomorrow on Fox or YouTube TV. As we're starting to transition into basketball season, we finally got our first glimpse at KU's rosters. KUJH's Lauren Ritchie went to Kansas City, Missouri for Big 12 Media Days and got to explore the new faces of Kansas basketball.
With basketball season just days away, the burning questions can finally get answered. At Big 12 Media Day, 5th-year senior Yvette Mayberry talks about the recent growth of women's basketball and its impact here at KU.
I would say our fan base is growing tremendously. We have a lot more fans that show up to our games. I mean, even last year versus the first year I got here. So just a lot of more people supporting women's sports, and yeah, we love it.
And the support continues for transfer Elle Evans, who will fit right in this year.
Elle will play on the perimeter as a wing player. I think when you talk about our style of play, it's become a little bit more 5-out.
But I think bringing to this team, I think just like a balanced attack, obviously a pretty good three-point shooter, so balancing that, off of Samaya and Yvette's drives, basing an inside-out game out of our bigs.
The Big 12 just got a whole lot bigger this year with the addition of 4 new teams. Texas and Oklahoma have moved over to the SEC, while U of A, ASU, Colorado, and Utah have all joined the Big 12, all getting to compete against new teams and start a new foundation. For Kansas, a lot of new faces, but the expectations remain the same.
I'm excited about my group. I think we're better. I think we've got a better roster. I think we're deeper.
Yeah, I think having the experience is a big thing, especially having 2 guys on your team that won national championships. I think that's huge. They've been to where everybody else on the team is trying to be, and they can give us a lot of experience. But also for me, being an elder statesman of the team, like you said, a couple of years in college basketball, I'm just trying to help the younger guys out, trying to get them prepared for what it's like to be in a college season, but especially a Big 12.
Lots of good basketball coming your way this season. For KUJH Sports, I'm Lauren Ritchie.
Thanks, Lauren. The first time you can catch the women here at Allen Fieldhouse is November 1st against Washburn, and the men an exhibition tomorrow night away against Arkansas. The swim and dive team have made their splash into the 2024 season and are back in Robinson Natatorium this weekend for a duel against the South Dakota Coyotes. KUJH's Emily Sutter is live outside of Robinson Natatorium with a preview of the meet. What can we expect this weekend, Emily?
Hawks are ready to show up and show out this weekend against South Dakota. Being a former diver myself, I'm anxious to see what the final scores for the 1 meter will be. For swimming, the team swept all 10 races in the Sunflower Showdown against St. Mary's, Sterling College, and Barton Community College on October 4th. However, the Jayhawks lost another duel against Illinois in Champaign, 109 points to 191 points. It will be crucial for the team to pull off another win against South Dakota, and the odds are in their favor as the last time they saw the Coyotes, they were 8-0 against their team. The meet starts at 5 p.m. tomorrow and 11 a.m. on Saturday. Live outside of Robinson Natatorium, I'm Emily Sutter. Back to you in the studio, Millie.
Thanks, Emily. We'll keep you updated with all of the swimming and diving coverage here on KUJH Sports. Taking another look into the sports-packed weekend, we'll see the 9th-ranked KU volleyball team compete against Utah after a 3-1 win against the Iowa State Cyclones here in Horsch Volleyball Arena last night. The Jayhawks are now 17-1 overall and undefeated in the Big 12. The star of last night's game was senior Aya El-Nadi, who received her 1,000th career kill in last night's game. She also had 16 in last night's match alone. Senior Cameron Turner received the milestone of 1,000 career digs, which is impressive for the setter. She also had 49 assists for the evening. In her career, she has had over 3,000 total assists, proving that she's there to lend a helping hand, or helping set, we should say. Show up to Horsch at 1 p.m. on Saturday for some fun against Utah, or catch the match on ESPN+. A packed weekend for KU is upon us, so thanks for watching KUJH Sports to keep up with the Hawks. For more about the World Series, KU's football wins, and the New York Liberty's WNBA Finals win, go to KUJHnews.com. For more information from our own Michael Darcy.
The Watson Library continues its centennial celebration.
And Zombies took over Lawrence for a night for their annual October tradition.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Welcome back. The Dillon Sunflower Showdown is also happening this weekend for KU football. Sam, what does that weather look like for us?
Well, it will be a chilly one for sure Saturday night out in Manhattan. Pre-game it'll be 64, but then come kickoff in fourth quarter it'll be down in the 50s, and by the end of the game it'll be down at 49. And I will say it will feel a lot cooler than this, I expect, toward the end of the game with the low humidity values. So definitely going to want to bring those jackets with you if you're heading out to Manhattan for that game. Taking a look at some other sporting events over the next week, whether it's women's swim and dive, women's soccer, or the volleyball matchups, all look to be great conditions for those events. Taking one more look at our forecast, again, the storm chance this evening, I want to reiterate that. And then tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, plenty of sunshine. Lows will be in the mid-30s for Friday night and Saturday night before coming back up into the mid-60s as we get into next week. And I hate to break it to you, there is a rain chance for Halloween. I'll have much more on that on next week's show. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Sam. A few weeks ago, we mentioned that Watson Library turned 100 years old this year, and KU Library is using the entire semester to take time to commemorate this achievement. KUJH's Kara Lyon goes to the library to find out how they are keeping the celebration going.
Happy birthday, dear Watson. Happy birthday.
The celebration of the centennial year continues as Watson hosts Library on the Lawn for the 100 years of Watson Library. This event gave students a chance to make crafts, play lawn games, take pictures in a photo booth, listen to live music, and enjoy a few food trucks.
Watson Library will have more events where students can participate in the celebration of 100 years of Watson here at KU. Faculty and staff are nothing short of excited in celebrating such an incredible milestone.
I mean, certainly we are celebrating 100 years of a building, but we're celebrating so much more than that. We're celebrating the history of KU, we're celebrating the history of Kansas and the people of Kansas and the history of libraries as well.
Despite being new to KU, underclassmen are having fun in joining the celebration and learning more about Watson Library.
It's really cool. I'm not from Lawrence, so it's fun to learn more about the history of Watson Library.
The planning for this event has been in the making since last year, and the library communications staff wanted to make this celebration special and memorable for the community.
We at KU Libraries are a very welcoming environment, welcoming people. We're here to support students, and this is just another way that we can support students outside, literally outside the libraries.
For KUJH News, I'm Kara Lyons.
It's great that everyone here at KU gets to be part of this once-in-a-lifetime celebration. Dates and times for the future Watson Library Centennial celebrations can be found on the library website lib.ku.edu.
Halloween is a week away and Lawrence has gone fully festive. KUJH's Jack Yampolsky took us to the Lawrence Zombie Walk to see how the community is celebrating the spooky season.
I'm sad to admit it, but I think the end is near. South Park on 11th and Massachusetts Street is filled with, get this, zombies. Zombies have taken over South Park to celebrate the 17th annual Zombie Walk.
Every October, La Granada and 1313 Mockingbird Lane host the Zombie Walk as a way to get into the Halloween spirit and raise funds for the Lawrence Humane Society. Hundreds of people gather for zombie-themed festivities. There are airbrush, face paint, and bloodbath stations. For some guests, it's not all about what's at the Zombie Walk, but rather how the Zombie Walk allows them to celebrate the Halloween season.
October is one of my favorite times of year, and any chance I have to get dressed up and freak people out is a win.
The many elements of the Zombie Walk keep people coming back year after year. Some people love the amazing costumes, others enjoy the sense of community, but for this young man, it's all about continuing a memory.
I don't know, to me, it's kind of like more about like the memories of doing it in the past. That's fun to me. So normally I come with my dad, and it's just kind of like, to me, it's about reliving a memory. We've just kind of made it tradition based off that.
Lawrence will only be getting more festive as we get closer to the big day on the 31st. But as for the zombies, they might stick around. So stay safe this Halloween season, Jayhawks. For KUJH News, I'm Jack Yampolsky.
If you missed the Zombie Walk and still want to celebrate the Halloween season, don't worry. There are many seasonal events in Lawrence. One is a costume contest that's happening this Saturday, the 26th, hosted by 1313 Mockingbird Lane. Well, that's all we have for you this morning. Check out KUJH on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram for exclusive content and keep up to date on the latest stories at KUJHnews.com. I'm Savannah Meyer.
And I'm Cameron McCrory. KUJH News will be back next Thursday at 11:30 a.m. Have a great day.